When you live in a place where the sun feels like it's trying to roast you alive, finding plants that actually enjoy that heat feels like winning the lottery, and today we're diving into the ones that never tap out. These flowering plants don't just survive hot climates, they put on a full show, turning dry, harsh days into bright color explosions without constant babysitting. I've seen these thrive in yards where the thermometer sits over 100 degrees Fahrenheit for weeks, and they still push out blooms like it's nothing. Some of them handle drought, some love humidity, and a few don't mind being ignored more than your group chat. What they all share is toughness, reliability, and a crazy ability to keep your garden looking alive even when the weather isn't cooperating. So if you're tired of plants that melt at the first heat wave, you're about to find your new favorites. Let's get into the top flowering plants that laugh in the face of hot climates and still deliver big, bold color. Angelonia is one of those plants that never seems bothered by heat, and that's exactly why people in scorching climates swear by it. It handles temperatures above 95 degrees Fahrenheit without slowing down, and its blooms stay upright and vibrant even when the sun is hitting full blast. What makes it great is how little maintenance it needs. You get steady flowers from late spring all the way into fall, and it doesn't collapse if you miss a watering or two. Give it plenty of sunlight and a well-draining soil mix, and it'll reward you with spikes of purple, pink, or white flowers that look like miniature snapdragons. The coolest part is that Angelonia is naturally pest-resistant and drought-tolerant, making it perfect for anyone who wants color without pampering. Plus, pollinators love it, so you'll see bees and butterflies stopping by all season. Million Bells is one of those flowers that just keeps going no matter how brutal the heat gets, and that's why you'll see it thriving in places where other plants burn out by midsummer. It blooms like crazy, sometimes producing hundreds of tiny bell-shaped flowers at once, and it doesn't even need deadheading to keep the show going. As long as it gets full sun and well-draining soil, it'll handle long, hot days without dropping its color. It appreciates consistent watering but won't pout if the soil dries out a bit, making it a great pick for busy gardeners. What really sets Million Bells apart is its ability to bloom non-stop from spring through fall, acting like a mini flower fountain that never quits. And here's a fun fact, it's known to attract hummingbirds thanks to its nectar-rich blooms, so your yard gets color and wildlife in one easy package. ALLIUM is a surprisingly tough flowering plant for hot climates, and it brings this bold, architectural look that doesn't fade even when temperatures climb past 90 degrees Fahrenheit. These globe-shaped blooms sit on tall, sturdy stems that handle heat and strong sun without drooping, which is why landscapers use them to add drama in places where summer gets intense. ALLIUM prefers full sun and well-drained soil, and once it's established, it's incredibly drought-tolerant, making it perfect for low-maintenance gardens. It doesn't attract pests. Actually, the onion scent in its foliage naturally keeps deer, rabbits, and insects away. The blooms last for weeks, and even after they dry, they still look striking, almost like sculptural ornaments in your garden. What makes ALLIUM extra cool is that bees absolutely love it, so you get a heat-proof plant that also boosts pollinators without needing constant care. Geranium is one of those plants that proves toughness doesn't have to look boring, especially when you see how well it handles long, hot summers. These blooms stay vibrant even when temperatures creep into the upper 90s, and the plant keeps pushing out new flowers as long as it gets plenty of sun and a light, well-draining soil mix. Geraniums don't need much water once they're settled in, just let the soil dry a bit between waterings and they'll stay compact and healthy without stretching or wilting. They're also naturally resistant to many pests, which is why so many gardeners in warm regions use them for container displays, balconies, and sunny borders. A fun little bonus is that their leaves give off a light, citrusy scent when brushed, making them feel almost like a built-in mood booster every time you walk past. PENTAS is one of the most reliable flowering plants you can put in a hot climate, because it genuinely thrives when the temperature hits those 95 degrees Fahrenheit summer highs. Its star-shaped clusters bloom non-stop, giving you bright pops of red, pink, white, or lavender that don't wash out under full sun. PENTAS loves heat, humidity, and well-draining soil, and once it's established, it can handle dry spells without collapsing, perfect for anyone who forgets to water on busy days. What really makes PENTAS a standout is how much wildlife it attracts. Butterflies, bees, and even hummingbirds treat it like an all-you-can-eat nectar bar. And despite looking delicate, it's one of the most low-maintenance plants you can grow, holding its color and shape even when the weather is rough. Blazing Star is one of those plants that looks elegant but handles heat like a champ, which is why it's a favorite in gardens where summers get seriously intense. Its tall spikes of purple or white flowers stay upright even when the temperature hits triple digits, and the plant's deep root system helps it thrive with minimal watering once established. Blazing Star loves full sun and well-drained soil, and it actually performs better in heat than in cool, damp conditions, making it perfect for hot, dry regions. The blooms open from top to bottom, giving you a long-lasting show that attracts butterflies and bees from all over the yard. A fun thing about Blazing Star is that even after the flowers fade, the seed heads still look striking, adding texture and interest without any extra work. Verbena is one of those plants that doesn't flinch when the heat cranks up, which is why you'll see it thriving in places where summer feels endless. It blooms continuously with clusters of bright purple, pink, red, or white flowers, and it keeps the color going even when temperatures climb into the high 90s. Verbena loves full sun and well-drained soil, and once it settles in, it becomes impressively drought-tolerant. You can skip a few waterings and it'll keep right on blooming without getting leggy. It's naturally resistant to pests and mildew, which makes it a low-maintenance favorite for borders, containers, and hanging baskets. The best part is how strongly it attracts butterflies, turning even a small sunny corner of your yard into a mini pollinator hotspot with almost no effort. SUNPATIENS is one of the few flowering plants that actually seems to enjoy blazing heat, which is why gardeners in hot, humid regions swear by it for non-stop color. Unlike regular impatiens, SUNPATIENS can handle full sun and temperatures pushing into the high 90s without wilting, and it keeps producing bold blooms from spring straight through fall. Give it well-draining soil and consistent moisture, and it rewards you with thick foliage and oversized flowers that stay vibrant even on the sunniest days. What makes SUNPATIENS especially impressive is how fast it grows. Some varieties can spread up to 3 feet wide, filling up empty spaces like a living bouquet. And fun fact, they were developed to be disease-resistant, so they hold up beautifully even in areas with heavy rainfall and humidity. SNAPDRAGON is one of those classic blooms that proves it can take the heat better than people give it credit for, especially newer varieties bred to handle warm summers. In hot climates, it keeps pushing out its colorful spikes even when daytime temperatures climb into the 90s, as long as it gets full sun in the morning and a bit of afternoon shade. SNAPDRAGON loves well-draining soil and regular watering, but once established, it's surprisingly drought-tolerant and doesn't collapse at the first dry spell. The cool part is how its flowers open from the bottom up, giving you longer-lasting color and a steady stream of new blooms. And here's a fun fact, the name SNAPDRAGON comes from the way the flower's mouth opens when gently squeezed, which is why kids love playing with them and why they add a little charm to any hot weather garden. Petunia is one of those go-to flowering plants for hot climates because it just refuses to slow down, even when the sun is beating down all day long. Modern petunia varieties can handle temperatures soaring into the mid-90s, and they keep pumping out those big, vibrant blooms without needing constant deadheading. Give them full sun, well-drained soil, and steady watering, and they'll reward you with a carpet of color that lasts from early spring until fall. They're also surprisingly tough. Once established, petunias can handle short dry spells and bounce back fast after heat waves. What makes them extra fun is how many pollinators they attract. Hummingbirds and butterflies can't resist those trumpet-shaped flowers. Plus, with so many colors and patterns, you can make your garden look bright and full without needing high-maintenance plants. Russian sage is one of those plants that absolutely thrives when the weather feels too hot for anything else, which is why it's a staple in gardens across desert-level climates. Its silvery foliage reflects sunlight, helping it handle temperatures well above 100 degrees Fahrenheit without fading, and those soft lavender blue flower spikes keep blooming from midsummer into fall with barely any effort. Russian sage loves full sun and sandy, well-draining soil, and once it's established, it's impressively drought-tolerant. You can skip watering for long stretches and it'll stay upright, airy, and fragrant. It's also naturally deer and pest resistant, which makes it a great low-maintenance backbone plant in hot landscapes. Fun fact, the aromatic leaves release a clean, herbal scent when brushed, giving your garden a subtle, relaxing fragrance every time you walk past. AMARANTH is one of those heat-proof plants that just keeps performing no matter how intense the summer gets, which is why it's so popular in hot, dry regions. Its round, papery blooms stay bright even when temperatures push past 95 degrees Fahrenheit, and they don't fade or droop under full sun. Give it well-drained soil and moderate watering, and it'll reward you with non-stop color from early summer into fall without demanding much attention. Once established, AMARANTH becomes highly drought-tolerant, making it perfect for low-maintenance gardeners or anyone who forgets to water during long heat spells. The best part is how long the blooms last, fresh or dried, so you can use them in arrangements long after the season ends. And fun fact, its nectar-rich flowers attract butterflies like crazy, turning even the hottest corners of your garden into a lively pollinator spot. COREOPSIS is one of those plants that proves you don't need perfect weather to get a yard full of bright, cheerful color, especially if you live somewhere where summers hit hard. It thrives in full sun and handles heat that climbs well into the 90s without losing its bloom power, thanks to its naturally tough, drought-tolerant roots. Give it well-draining soil and occasional watering, and it'll keep pumping out yellow, orange, or pink daisy-like flowers from late spring through fall with almost no maintenance. What really makes COREOPSIS great for hot climates is how fast it rebounds after heat waves. It doesn't get leggy, it doesn't pout, it just keeps blooming like nothing happened. Plus, pollinators absolutely love it, especially bees and butterflies, turning your sunny garden into a buzzing, colorful scene all season long. And that wraps up our list of flowering plants that actually love the heat and won't bail on you when summer turns brutal. If you want a garden that stays bright, colorful, and alive even on those 95 degrees days, these plants are the real deal, low maintenance, long blooming, and tough enough to handle whatever the season throws at them. I hope this helped you discover a few new favorites to try out in your own space. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and leave a comment telling me which plant you're adding to your garden next. Your support helps this channel grow, and I'll see you in the next one.